When we look at cinematography gear-wise, the lenses that are used are mostly cine lenses. They are more precise in both quality and usability. A popular type of cine lens is the anamorphic lens, which offers the well-known widescreen footage, which is very nice. But unfortunately, like with normal spherical cine lenses, these lenses can be bulky, need experience, expensive, and are only manual focus. At least that was the case, because now something new emerged. And I had the pleasure of using one of the first autofocus anamorphic lenses, and the timing was perfect since I got the lens just before my trip to Tokyo. And what better place to test an autofocus anamorphic lens than Tokyo? Using this lens at a place like Tokyo makes it very clear why this lens is a keeper. For starters, the most obvious feature: autofocus. Having autofocus with a cine lens now solves all the regular issues that I normally have with cine lenses. Think about using a slider or shooting a dolly in. Doing that while maintaining focus manually is quite a challenge. Same of course when monitoring with the small built-in screen. And now all these issues are solved with this autofocus anamorphic lens. Believe me, even though I had this lens and my usual anamorphic lens with me in Tokyo, a lot has been shot with this new autofocus lens from Sirui. Sirui is really spoiling us, since we get to choose. You decide whether to go for the 40mm or the 20mm. And with that, there's even a blue and a neutral flare option. My pick was the 20mm since it offers a more unique image. The combination of field of view and that anamorphic character. But the most important reason was that wide angle. That was a total game changer in Tokyo. Being able to capture the stunning street view, the signs, the buildings, the alleys and even tiny izakayas. It wouldn't be possible without this 20mm. But of course we also have to look in the more technical performance of this lens. But just to give you a little teaser, I'm impressed. In general, the autofocus worked fine. With human detection on, the performance was okay. It sometimes missed the, let's call it, human identification. So where spherical normally detects a human, this lens sometimes didn't. Probably has to do with the anamorphic distortion, which is of course totally understandable and no issue for me, but something to keep in mind. Looking at the character of this lens, it's obvious we're talking about pincushion distortion type. Not my favorite distortion, but luckily easily to correct in post if necessary. However, I do like the bokeh and the overall distortion. And for wide angle, it offers great subject separation, really cinema level. Of course, with its f1.8, I had no issues in low light. And believe me, I shot a lot of low light situations. And this fast aperture combined with the awesome dual ISO from the Lumix S9 was simply killer. Furthermore, the color rendition seems to be neutral, and one thing that really made me happy was the pleasing subtle flare, which is kinda similar as with the Sirui Mars set, which had the best flare. And a nice practical feature is the button on the lens, which really improved my filming workflow. because Lumix cameras offer you the option to customize this button to whatever function you want to use. And really having that button directly in thumb reach is so convenient. For let's say a quick focus lock or a digital zoom, it's just a nice extra to have. And also, it's not necessary to shoot open gate 3x2 or 4x3, since the anamorphic factor delivers the common 2.35:1 ratio when shooting with the 16:9 sensor. So, after using this Sirui 20mm on my trip, I can honestly say that this lens blew me away. By that, I mean in all kinds of ways. For starters, the character of this lame anamorphic factor exceeded my expectations. It's the golden combination of focal length and anamorphic character that makes this lens so versatile. Since this lens has a large sensor coverage, almost full frame, you kinda have more focal lengths within one lens. The wide angle is great, even in very tight places it delivers true cinema, which I think is quite unique. Combine it with a very short minimal focus for more creativity and immersive shots. And top that off with a nice subtle anamorphic flare. All that in a compact yet durable design. So it won't be a surprise if I say that this 20mm from Sirui is definitely one of my essentials from now on, and probably will be glued to my Lumix S9. So Sirui, thank you so much for offering me this lens. It truly was an essential piece of my gear on my dream trip to Tokyo. It allowed me to capture all the beauty and character of Tokyo in a proper and well-deserved cinematic way. And for that, I'm grateful.